Okay, so this is part two of the equations of a circle. If we were given the equation in its standard form, x plus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 25, we can also turn this into a generalized form, which comes from just expanding out the binomials. So we just need to square this binomial, which means nothing more than x plus 1 times x plus 1. We're going to multiply that out. So we can take shortcuts on this. We've talked about this when we were talking about multiplying binomials together. And we would simply have x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus y squared minus 6y plus 9, and then that equals 25. And then we could go ahead and get all our constants on the same side, where we would have x squared plus 2x plus y squared minus 6y, and the 1 and the 9 would be converted over to the other side, and that would equal, let's see, that would be 25 minus 1, 24, and 24 minus 9 more would be 15. And so that would equal 15. So either one of these might show up as a generalized form. Typically you would see it this form with the x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus y squared minus 6y plus 9, and it equals the r squared, which in this case is 25. But that's to change it from standard into expanded or to general form. We just expand out the binomials doing our multiplication, and we get it into our general form. Now, the next thought would be, what if they start off with this generalized form and they could move the x's and the y's from various positions, and they want us to turn it into standard form so that we can actually see what the center of the circle is and so forth. So I'm going to start us off with one. Let's say we have x squared plus 8x plus y squared, and we'll go minus 6y, and it's going to equal 10. To change this into the standard form, we need to be able to complete the square. So we look at these individually. So I'm going to basically focus on the x squared plus 8x, and I'm going to focus also on the y squared minus 6y, but I'm going to look at them individually. So I'm going to complete the square here, which means we take half of our b term, our linear term. So half of 8 gives me 4, and then I square that. Now, we need to remember the 4 because we're going to use that in just a minute to finish out the problem. But that starts us off with x squared plus 8x plus 16, which came from 4 squared, plus y squared. I'm going to do the same thing here and take half of negative 6, which is negative 3. We square it. When I square the negative, I end up again with a positive. So this would be minus 6y and then plus 9 equals. Now we can no longer equal 10 because we have added in 16 and we've added in 9 to the problem. So we've got what I add to one side, I have to add to the other side. So if we added 16 to the left-hand side of the problem, we need to add 16 to the right-hand side of the problem. If I added 9 to the left, I have to add 9 to the right. Now, at this point, to actually move it on into standard form, I need to factor both of those. The factoring is not going to be difficult because that's where we're going to refer back to both of those numbers we just used. Many of you are going to recognize a shortcut about how we could jump from the beginning form straight into standard form as long as you understand where the numbers are coming from. So we used 4 here, so this would be x plus 4 squared plus, and we had our y. We had negative 3 that we used, so it's going to be y minus 3 squared, and it's going to equal all of this combined together. So 10 plus 16 is 26. 26 plus 9 is 35. So that's going to equal 35. Now we have got it in standard form. Once I'm in standard form, I can recognize my center. My center, remember how we do the opposite? So the center is going to be -4 and +3. The radius is going to have to be the square root of 35, because remember that is r squared that's sitting here. So we have to take the square root of 35, and we can leave that as a radical, or you could use your calculator and get an approximated value. Approximated value would probably be somewhere to close to 5.9, because the square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 35 is probably going to be about 5.9. We could use a calculator to get a more exact version of that. And that's how we complete the square to turn this generalized form into standard form. Thank you.